kids will be, they're going to be equipped instead of waiting until they're in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade before they start thinking about college or career. You've got to start them at 5th and 6th grade, building the skills, getting their mind going, helping them explore and start to understand what's out there. And also, what do I want to do? And we're doing that. So I want to jump out of my skin right now because I'm so excited. It's been 10 years in the making. Mm-hmm. And we've got all these partners and these different schools that have really made this happen. And we're really excited. Welcome back to the 5-Star Life Show. I'm your host, Coach Seth, and I'm joined in studio with my amazing co-host, Coach Mia.
Thanks, Seth. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. 2024 is here.
It is. Gosh, that went really quick.
It always does. I love the transition from year to year because I just love to reflect and think. And, I was just saying, 2024 is a special year to me because I have a kid that's going to be graduating. And so it's weird, like when we first started playing travel basketball, they categorize kids by number, and it's their graduation number. At first I was like, what do these numbers mean? I'm like, oh my gosh.
That confused me when we first started basketball.
Yeah.
They referred to them as that year.
2024.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is like, a long time ago. And so it's finally here. It's like, here it is. It's happening. It's fun.
It is fun. 2024 is going to be a great year.
It is going to be a great year. And if you just tuned into the show, thank you so much for tuning in. Just a couple suggestions. If you have enjoyed this show and you're a follower of ours, please share this. Take the time to share this. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscription button. And then you can watch this actually on YouTube, on our YouTube page at The 5-Star Life. You can also listen to it by audio anywhere podcasts are streamed. But thanks for tuning in.
We need some reviews, though.
We need some reviews. This is a new show. Yes. We've got Arnold back here in the producer's hot seat. And, ultimately we've done some new things. We're trying to take this to YouTube in different formats so that people can listen or watch or whatever your preference is. But we do want your feedback. Like, is the content helpful? Are you guys sleeping through it? Are you just skipping it? What's going on? I will say, Mia, that when I run to people that listen to our show on live radio, 95.3 MNC, I run to people just about every week that say, I listen to you every week. So there's people listening there, but we get no feedback from YouTube or any of our podcast streaming services. So leave a review, please. Let us know content that's helpful. Let us know suggestions, things that you wish we would tackle that we don't. Maybe there's conversations we had that you're like, man, it's so good. Would you please take it this next step? We would love to do that.
We would.
So talk to me. How was your transition to 2024?
It was great. I was preparing myself, though, for that transition. So I was ready for it and took some time that I learned from you is kind of reflect back on the year and forecast to the new year. So it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because, oftentimes we just go through these transitions and it's like you unplug from work and you unplug from all these things and then you have just busyness on your calendar. And it's not necessarily intentional. It's just more sporadic. And it's interesting when you study the human brain and psychology, how sometimes when we take off all the boundaries and all those things, it doesn't always lead to a feeling of like looking back saying, man, that was really good. Often it's like we can binge things and do things and fall into habits that we're like, I wish I would use my time differently. But yet there's so much power in having just downtime where you can just be and breathe, but just being a little bit intentional about, hey, I want to read some things. I want to reflect on some things. I want to, be connected to certain people. It's amazing how just a little bit of structure and a little bit of planning, like you're talking about, makes you kind of transition in feeling like, man, that was really good.
And it doesn't take a whole lot. Everybody is like, oh, I need downtime. It's like, and some people can do that. I couldn't lay around for one day and do nothing. I just can't. So, for me, it was just little chunks of time, quality time. Mine's in the morning, and it was good.
How did you plan differently, though? What made it different for you?
Actually, our curriculum, and I'm not just saying that is the truth. Because I joined a group, basketball was going through it again, our conflict series, and I joined it. And the challenge question, it was absolutely amazing to me. And it was so timely to, be your best self, basically. And like, what situation were you going to choose to practice that? And, I said best self. I don't think that's true.
Ideal
it's
self.
Your ideal self. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. So I took that to heart, and I knew exactly when and where I was going to do this. It was, and I just kept thinking about it and made it happen.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Well done. Yeah. That is awesome.
Can't wait to share next week with them. So
yeah. So, if you're watching this, our curriculum it's designed for kids, but it's so good for adults. So we get feedback from teachers and our coaches and volunteers that, man, this is helping me more than I think it's helping the kids, partially because we as adults can process at a higher level, right? And we're better at reflecting. We have more to reflect on. Mm-hmm. But that conflict series, just talking about like, listen, we have this ideal self, this ideal picture of who we want to be. And it's a great time to think about this as we think about rolling into a new year and who we want to be in 2024. It's kind of a timely lesson, even though it's talking about conflict. Ideal self versus feared self. And it's amazing how often we live not as the person we want, but as the person we fear. Mm-hmm. And that's what creates that inner conflict. And then we're miserable and we're not very fun to be around for the people that interact with us.
Mm-hmm. And the guilt and the condemnation that you put on yourself for not, living up to that other side or your ideal self. The other cool thing, though, is we did it as a group. And then it's the accountability, because we were sharing the challenge at a later time, and I shared where I was going to do it, and then I had gone somewhere else, and I wasn't my ideal self, and Coach Bray was like, "Oh, so you only saved your ideal self for that one situation?" I was like, "Oh, come on!" But I was so focused on that situation, I thought, "Oh my gosh, no! This is a broad, picture. I have got to be my ideal self all the time." So. Thank you, Coach Bray, for my accountability check.
Oh, man. I tell you what, when you have, as a human, when you have it doesn't have to be a crystal clear vision, but the clearer the better. But when you have a vision of like the ideal self and what you want to do, who you want to be, and then when you have some discipline and you are willing to take steps and put into action what you want, but then when you talked about the third piece, when you have accountability, that's when excellence starts to kick in our personal lives. If you don't have a vision, you're not going to be excellent at anything because you have nothing to shoot for. If you don't have enough discipline, if you can't act on things and just actually take a step, if it's just all in your head, you'll never master anything. You'll never become somebody that masters a craft or an area of your life. But if you don't have accountability, it'll take you forever to grow. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how we need, like, just that challenge, even though he was joking. Yeah. It's just like, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you weren't offended by it.
Not at all.
That's good too. So this is going to be, 2024 is going to be an incredible year. And I just want to encourage people to kind of, this is going to be a little bit of a smorgasbord episode today, because we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're talking about 2024, which, by the way, Mia, have you thought about 2024? I know you like to take some time to think about at some point kind of a word or a theme you have this year. How's that coming? Do you have something yet, or are you still working on it?
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I just, you know what? This year has been a little bit different. I don't feel convicted, and like, usually there's like one area that I'm like so convicted and I want to work on. So I don't know. I kind of have one, but maybe I'll share in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of there with you. Last year, you guys remember what my word was last year?
Love.
Man, last year was so good for me. But I feel like I have so much to learn about love. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm going to continue that because
part two.
Love part two, because I'm slow apparently to learn about love. Because I feel like I've made so much progress, but I feel like I'm just scratching the surface when it comes to like walking in love, because I still so often catch myself, even talking about ideal self, feared self. I mean, one of the great enemies of love, it's not hate, it's fear. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, you don't think about that, but it's truly the opposite of love is fear. So we're either operating and we're resonating and we're vibrating, and our energy source is either out of love or it's out of fear. And even though I feel like I've learned so much about that topic, and even the scientific pieces that go along with it. I mean, there's so much science behind this idea of being a love-based person or a fear-based person, and the ramifications for every part of our life, in our relationships, to our creativity, and our health. So I want to continue the journey. We are out of time for this first segment. Hold on to your seat. Text this episode to somebody, share it, hit the like and the subscription button. We'll be right back after this. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Did you know that you can bring the values, lessons, and mindsets Coach Seth discusses on the 5-Star Life podcast to your local community? Schools are searching for programs and content that work. Just a simple introduction to your teacher or principal could be a game changer in your community. Inquire at 5starlife.org and someone from our team will be in touch.
Welcome back to the 5-Star Life Show. I'm your host, Coach Seth, and I'm joined in studio with my amazing co-host, Coach Mia.
Thank you, Seth.
And we've got producer Arnold back here.
Yes.
Are you mic'd up today? Oh, he's not.
On.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So he's not in 2024 yet. Come on,
We're
Arnold.
dragging him
Bring
in.
you back to 2024. Arnold is officially part of the family. We're just shredding him the way we shred each other as brother and sister here.
Yes.
If you just tuned in, welcome to the show. 2024 is going to be incredible, and we have so many resources at 5-Star Life. This show is obviously one tool. You can listen to this anywhere podcasts are streamed. You can also watch it at YouTube at The 5-Star Life. But on our website, the5starlife.org, you can find so many different resources, from video curriculum for your schools, for your community. We're also very close to launching an app. It's still in testing mode. We're excited about that. But check out our website. Get involved in 5-Star Life this year in some way, and leave us a review. We want to hear your feedback, like the last segment. If you thought there was like something that was valuable there, or you have comments or feedback, or you have questions, please leave us a review and let us know if you love it or hate it. We appreciate all the feedback we can get.
Awesome. I was going to say only good reviews, but
We'll take it all.
All right.
I was just saying at the break that I can filter things out. I can take the good and the bad. We were at the break. We were talking, like Arnold's asking who's not mic'd up. Otherwise, I'd point and have you share this, Arnold. But he was just asking what resources. I was talking about love and studying love, and like where my sources come from. And I just said all across the board. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally, like I learned from everybody, and I try to learn from everybody I talk to every day. But some of the research I do, there's some people that have learned a lot about love. Mm-hmm. And some of them, I don't agree with their politics. I don't agree necessarily with all their lifestyle decisions. But they have nailed some things, and they have some real truths. And I think so much of our world, if you think about love, there's so much fear that blocks our ability to receive love and to love. And what ultimately happens is, if I prejudge research, or even a influencer, somebody that has something really good to share, because I know they made some political statement or they believe differently than me, that is fear. I'm afraid to hear what they have to. Now, I know you have to have wisdom. I don't just listen to anything and everything out there. But if I have a sense that this person has something good in the area of their life I can glean from, why would I just pretend that person doesn't have a real special area of brilliance that I can learn from, just because I disagree with their faith, their values, or maybe even their politics? So I know some people are like, oh, Coach Seth, you're getting out there on me. I don't know. I think that love is so big that it sees the greatness in everyone. and it can learn from everyone without taking in the toxic stuff that maybe they haven't learned in their life. Does that make sense, or does it sound crazy?
No, it makes sense to me, but I understand what you're saying, that some people wouldn't see it that way. But that truly is love. And it's the love that the world is talking about that sometimes that we can't accept.
Yeah, and there's so many, talking about fear, we have all these labels. And based on a political label, a religious label, whatever it is, those labels become fear-triggering episodes for us. Like if you say you're this or that, then all of a sudden I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to question, do I even want to be associated with this person? And this is how we come up with all this division in our world. And so it truly is invigorating to become a person that's love-based, because now I don't fear. I'm not afraid of Mia. I'm not afraid of Arnold. I'm not afraid of anybody, because I'm based in love. And love is unstoppable. It's invincible. It's powerful. And it's very grounding, and it creates a lot of clarity. And when you start to love, you can start to pick up on, oh, that's a fear-based response, or that's coming from, you can pick, it's amazing how you start to tune in and you can see where people are coming from.
I think it also helps you receive where they're coming from and what you do with it. When you're based in love and not fear, you can filter it, and then decide, what you're going to do with it. When you're based in fear, those kind of, reactions, and you don't know what to do with them, and then that triggers you to do something, not in love. Yeah.
It's so interesting. There's so much to learn, and it's a wild study of love and even our emotions and kind of the things that we emit, the energy we emit. The world used to believe that this table was made up of matter that was solid. And now, in this microphone, but now, quantum physics has proven that actually this is, yes, it appears to be solid, but it's just energy. It's all vibrating, and it's all, there's space between all of it. Anyways, it's now I'm getting out there a little bit. But I find it interesting because we emit a certain energy and a certain frequency, and it's either based out of love or out of fear. And the reason I point that out is, everything is energy, and we are energy. And so the influence we want to have in our marriages, in our kids' lives, in our workplace, in all, what we're emanating and what we're based out of is massive. And we can actually choose to come up a little higher in how we operate in this world. And it has a ripple effect across generations.
I like that.
Okay, back to 5-Star Life. Sorry, Coach Seth moment. This is why when we're filming curriculum, I have a timer and I have a script that I follow, because I can just go on these little rants.
They're good.
So the holidays were good for you. Christmas was good for you.
Spent
good time with family. Got to reflect a little bit. Still working on a word. Arnold, do you have a word yet? Arnold's working on it. I like it. Okay. So one of the things that I was honored to do this Christmas season is I was having a conversation with one of the directors of a local detention center. And I just asked him, like, hey, what goes on at Christmas? Like, what's it like for kids? And he said, well, you know what? We do a Christmas program. I said, could I come? She's like, absolutely. I said, can my family come? So we went Christmas morning. My kids loved it. That we had, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. They're heading to the detention center.
Sure.
And it was so cool just to go and I don't know. Christmas is the season of giving. And it's the season of love. But is it? Or is it just about us? And it was so good for our family. And because when has the Moss family ever spent like Christmas morning not engulfed in like stockings and presents and whatever holiday breakfast we do? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. I love our traditions. But it was just super cool to like change up the tradition.
Yeah.
And like, hey, we're going to go. And we went, and it was super cool. You have the director there leading it, who
Wow.
it's his time off.
Yeah.
He's got out of town, children that have traveled to come in town, and he's there at the detention center with these kids, making it. I mean, how cool is it that he makes it so special? He had gifts for the kids, like a big piece of fruit and some snacks, some special snacks for Christmas. And then he picked out some really good books for them to read and bought them books. And so kids got gifts, they got snacks, and then we sang Christmas carols and shared the Christmas story. And I think 85% of the kids had never heard the Christmas story. And so it was just like this, I don't know. It's hard to even explain how honored I was to actually be able to go there and be a part of that.
Was it just his class, or was it all the kids?
It was all the kids.
Wow.
That are locked up. They try to work with the judges to let kids out and then come back.
Yeah.
But you just can't always do that.
Sure.
And so it was, it's just amazing sitting there Christmas morning. These kids are not with their families. They're not waking up to presents and stockings and families. They're waking up in a cell, by themselves. But then this director made it special, got them out of the cells, brought them together, and we're singing Christmas carols with no music, just singing together. And to hear their voices, and it was just, I don't know how to explain it. It was super, it was a very cool moment.
Yeah.
Okay, I went long. We got to wrap this up. We'll be right back after this.
Five Star Life is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to changing the face of culture by changing kids' mindsets. Since 2005, we've impacted hundreds of thousands of lives thanks to the generous support of individuals, small businesses, corporations, and foundations. Are you interested in helping Five Star Life grow into all 50 states? With your donation or introduction, you can help bring Five Star Life to your community, school, and state. Go to fivestarlife.org and send us an email today. That's FIVESTARLIFE.org.
Welcome back to the 5 Star Life Show. I'm your host, Coach Seth, and I'm joined in studio with Coach Mia.
Thanks, Seth.
So 2024 is here, and we are so excited about 2024. If you just tuned in, make sure you go check out, we're having conversations about a lot of things in this kind of smorgasbord show to open up the year. But at 5 Star Life, you can learn a lot more about ways to get your kids involved, your grandkids involved, or to bring 5 Star Life to a school, neighborhood, or detention center near you. You can find all that at fivestarlife.org. But we've got a lot going on. This is so we're celebrating something very special this year, our 10th year with Summit. We acquired Summit 10 years ago in the end of June. It'll be 10 years. And I was just having a conversation with our executive director, Aubrey, and I was just saying, man, 10 years ago, it's been 10 years in the making. Some of the programs that we're just launching in 2024. So you think about, we're launching this program called 5 Star Life Innovative Learning, and we've got about 500 kids right now registered through school partnerships. They're going to be bussed up once a week for 6 weeks at a time, and this is something that literally the whole purpose in acquiring Summit was so that we could start to impact kids on a consistent basis at that property where it was pulling in all the stuff we talked about with mindset and character and leadership, but then we could also give them hands-on skills-based experiential learning so that kids who we work with who feel like they just aren't good at anything and that they're slow or they're dumb, we can eradicate that because every kid will find a place and a space where they can be great and something that's intriguing and interesting, and then a process where they can take that and turn into a career. this is the year we're launching 5 Still Life Innovative. Yes, we've been running programs for 10 years at Summit.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've had a specific program where schools are busing kids consistently for school, during school. We're going to look back on 2024 in this innovative learning program, and I'm telling you, this is going to be something that is going to explode because kids will be, they're going to be equipped instead of waiting until they're in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade before they start thinking about college or career. You've got to start them at 5th and 6th grade, building the skills, getting their mind going, helping them explore and start to understand what's out there, and also, what do I want to do? And we're doing that. So I want to jump out of my skin right now because I'm so excited. It's been 10 years in the making, and we've got all these partners and these different schools that have really made this happen, and we're really excited.
That is very exciting.
Which brings me to something really interesting. So if you have listened to this show and you did not take me up on my request for you to follow us on our year-end journey, I wrote a series of letters. And many of you read those letters, and really thank you for your feedback. Thanks for reading them. And then thank you for responding. People have stepped up in major ways. There's been so many people that read each letter, and the whole goal for us and for me was, this is our mission. This is our passion. This is what we're born for. Everybody else has lives, and they have other missions. They have jobs. They have things. But we're in it. We see the data. We hear the stories. We see the kids. We see the broken families. We see the abuse. We're in it. And so it's easy to be compelled. But when you're not in it, it's easy just to let it go and to forget about it.
Right.
So the whole goal was to just kind of write some letters that would bring people into our world. And I think that touched people's hearts. And now we've got people registering to volunteer. We've got people making donations like they've never made before. And we had someone in the middle of this campaign who reached out and donated over $1 million worth of facilities to us. I mean, it's just, you can't make this up.
No.
So when we talk about this on this show, we say, listen, we have a solution and we need all hands on deck, and there's a place for everybody. When people actually take us at our word and they reach out and they say, hey, we've got something that we want you to look at to see if this is a good fit for 5 Star. We love it when people get creative with what they have. And now, full circle, these facilities, we're talking about a greenhouse that would cost us $250,000. And we've been wanting, praying, hoping, researching, looking for greenhouses for our nature program so we can teach kids how to grow stuff year round. Yeah. And boom, just like that, somebody reaches out and a $250,000 greenhouse is ours. And not only that, there's other facilities that go with that. They're going to be ours as well for woodworking and for ceramics. And so we're starting what will be this whole artisan workshop craftsman village. And I know there's people listening and you're getting excited as well because you see how education has failed. And my disclaimer on that is, listen, we partner with education. I'm not slamming education. The educators we talk to, they recognize it too, like it needs to change. The point is, we're coming alongside education and schools, public schools, and kids and teachers. And through these programs and facilities, we're giving kids an opportunity to be educated in the ways that we once educated people across the world through apprenticeships, where it was hands-on learning at a young age, where kids gained skills and confidence, and they had to use their brains and their hands together and work as a team. Yeah. This is so exciting. And so I'm not revealing, I don't want to reveal who made that donation at this point. I want to give them that freedom right now, but hopefully we'll bring them on and we can say thank you in front of everybody. With this comes a little bit of a challenge. We've got to raise some money we need volunteers and we need capital to actually move those facilities. And it's about $150,000. And so again, just sharing this with you all, because some of you have means, and some of you know people in the trades where you're like, man, I'm thinking of so-and-so, they could help be a part of these programs.
Sure.
They could help volunteer. They could help run some of these programs. Or you know people that, hey, we actually move buildings, or hey, we could help be a part of the construction process. So I'm just throwing it out there because again, if everybody does what they can do, we're going to change culture. We don't have to watch constant bad news in the news every single day of our lives for eternity. We can turn this around, and it's donations like this that actually help make it happen.
Mm-hmm. So exciting. And you know what, too, if you haven't seen our facilities, we have an incredible campus, and these additions will just take it to the next level.
Yeah, so to have space that year-round kids, because we run incredible summer programs. So during the school, kids will be bussed out there. In the summer, we'll have all these electives and courses that kids can dive into. I mean, it is truly extraordinary. So I want to say thank you to everybody out there that listens to this, and you've been a part of the journey. You should be just beaming with pride right now that you're a part of this, whether you donated during the radiothon, that'll come up this spring again, whether it's participating in our golf open that we do, actually it's coming up in June, or whether you just donate your time or your energy, all of you are a part of this, and as well as all of the teachers and educators out there that are partners with us. We're doing this together, and it's exciting.
We do. We have so many different levels of partnerships, and they're all incredible, and they're so generous.
People, there's nothing like being generous. And I think these are the special people that, again, going back to my word for the year is love. When you give, you're emanating love. When you think of others and do things for others, it's so hard to explain it, but people that don't get this think that I don't have the energy to serve. I don't have the energy or the resources to give. And what they don't realize is when you operate, which by the way, that's fear. But when you operate in love and you give, yes, it's sacrificial. Yes, it costs you time or energy or money or whatever. But what happens is somehow there's not a deficit in your energy or your resources or your time. There, all of a sudden, abundance starts to come, and it's magnetic. You draw in energy, and it's hard to explain, but it happens. It's real.
It does, and it feels good.
It feels amazing. That's love. All right, we're going to take another quick break and come back with our last segment. Go to 5starlife.org at the break.
Five Star Life offers year-round programs for kids at our 350-acre training facility that we call Summit. These programs focus on 3 core components. First, each program includes lessons from our curriculum that targets kids' mindset. Secondly, each program teaches a skill like equine, archery, blacksmithing, basketball, fishing, boating, and many more. Thirdly, our programs connect kids to mentors we call coaches, who are trained to help kids live a 5-star life. Go to 5starlife.org to learn more or sign up your kids.
Welcome back to the 5-Star Life Show. I'm your host, Coach Seth, joined with my co-host, Coach Mia.
Thanks, Seth.
In our last segment, just wrapping this up, we have got so much to look forward to in 2024. And I told people in the letters I wrote and on this show, just really encourage people to take time to decompress and reflect. And like you mentioned, it's not necessarily crazy, huge blocks of time. It's just being mindful and taking a little bit of space. It's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, to read, journal a little bit, just gather your thoughts and to think about, man, 2023, what were the highlights? What were the good parts? It's so important. We don't stop to practice gratitude, which, by the way, it goes back to my word love. You have to love your life. If you don't practice loving your life, a way to practice loving your life is to reflect on what you love about your life. And it will make your heart swell. It'll really help you bring some great perspective into the next year. And then take some time to reflect on, okay, 2024, what do I want to change? Who do I want to be? What do I want to experience in 2024? And whether it's a word or a sentence or whatever, I just want to encourage our listening audience to do that. We've got some exciting content we're going to be unpacking here in the next 2 months. We begin filming here in a couple weeks for our final season of curriculum theme Breakthrough. And if you have not listened to any of these shows where we unpack some of these curriculum lessons, really want to encourage you to go ahead and check it out. You can check it on our podcast or on YouTube. They're categorized. Check them out. But we're going to spend 7 shows talking about how to break through in leadership. And ultimately, leadership is influence. And we'll start with just like, okay, how much influence do you have over yourself? And the crazy thing when you start studying that is we actually have incredible influence over ourselves, but for the most part, we don't appropriate, we don't act, and we don't influence ourselves. So we let everything around us influence us, and we let everything inside influence us, which what's inside is our subconscious. We've talked about that before, that about 95% of our life is operated by programs that are in our subconscious. So we have these programs. So when I talk about influencing ourselves, we don't know it, but we have all this programming that was put into us at a young age that's running most of our lives, unless we've been intentional about changing that programming. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that one. That's going to be a powerful one to unpack, and probably a great way to start your year.
This whole season is going to be incredible. I mean, well, actually, let's take a step back. This whole theme has been incredible.
Yeah, it really has. And, we kicked it off by talking about breakthrough and motivation. And, motivation is something that every teacher and parent has said, my kids, many of our kids are struggling with this. So we unpacked 7 lessons on how to break through in motivation. That was powerful. 7 lessons on how to break through in relationships. That was powerful. And then mental health. We just went through that, and we talked about on air some of the most recent shows. You'll hear that. So I would encourage you, if you're just new to the show, go back and check some of those out. We unpack some of that at length and in a little more depth. But it's going to be good. I hope you're along for the journey, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope you're a part of this thing, and I hope you share some of this stuff. If it's helpful to you, maybe it's helpful to others, and leave us a review. If it's not helpful, tell us why and how we can make it better.
So what else is going to go on in 2024 for us?
So I talked about innovative learning. That's super exciting. We have 5-star basketball. We have AAU tryouts coming up here in about a month and a half for our spring and summer, which that's where the bulk of our teams are. So if you have kids that love basketball and they want to play travel basketball, you don't want to miss that. You want to pay attention to all of our 5-star basketball social media stuff. We'll be posting it there, all the tryout dates, all this stuff. But that's going to be super exciting. We have so many new things happening. We're offering something for the first time, 5-Star Life Advanced Archery, which is going to be super exciting. That's actually, registration is happening right now. It's going to be closing soon. So if you have kids or grandkids and maybe they're not involved in a winter sport, and maybe they don't know what they want to do with hobbies or careers, archery is such a fun sport. And it's amazing how many kids that come out that are like even non-athletes, they're really good because they find out, hey, I have good hand-eye coordination. Maybe it's never been, developed. So the archery is an awesome sport, and there's college scholarships for it. And
Coach Ray leads it. And
yes.
Tell me about Coach Ray.
Oh, well, you tell me about Coach Ray. He's incredible.
As a person, he's unbelievable, but you know his credentials.
Yeah, so he is one of the best archery trainers in the country. He has spent the last 20 years traveling the world, going to archery tournaments, learning from pros, shooting with pros, training with pros. That's who he trains with, professional archers. And he is one of the, even though he downplays how good he is as an archer, he is one of the best trainers and coaches. So to have the opportunity for your kids to learn from one of the best, by the way, it's connected with USA Archery. So who knows? I really believe at some point, and this sounds crazy, but we're going to produce kids that are in the Junior Olympics and they're going to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the trainer that right here on our team that could make that possible. So if you're listening and you have kids that they're just not fitting with a sport or with a hobby, you really should consider archery. And this is the beginning. This advanced archery is the beginning of a process of us launching 5-Star Life archery team. Just like we have 5-star basketball teams, we're launching this year an equine team, an archery team, some new teams that we're bringing to our programs, and we're super excited.
So exciting because, you know what, kids, there's so many things that kids can do, and I love that we offer so many different activities, but areas that they can get involved.
And yeah, you say they're activities, but they're more than activities, right? Because so many groups offer archery, and it's great. But nobody is, and people offer basketball, and it's fine. And they're offering equine, that's fine. But nobody is taking archery and equine and basketball and tying it holistically into life and academics in their world. It's not this separate little world out here, the satellite world of a basketball player. No, you're a human being. You're a student. You're an athlete. You're a son. You're a daughter. And we're going to put into you, and the hook is archery. The hook is basketball. But what we're doing is using that as the hook to teach them the principles that create a successful and thriving 5-star life.
Love it.
So check it out. You can go to our website right now. You can actually register. Registration is, I believe it's open, isn't it?
They were opening up today.
Okay. So there you go. You could be the first ones to register. Check it out. It's limited too. So, with some of these programs, like they are limited. It's first come, first served. But I encourage you to check it out. Be on the cusp of this new program. And who knows, maybe your son or daughter will be the first group to be on the 5-Star Life archery team, where they'll compete and travel and do all kinds of tournaments.
Very cool.
Okay. So this show, we've talked about a lot of stuff. We've talked about reflecting on 2023, moving into 2024, kind of rethinking who you want to be and making the adjustments, the tweaks. We talked about, I got the honor of going to detention center for Christmas. I bring that up because don't let another year pass living blinded to the fact that there are people all around us. We build up, I don't even want to say build up, because it's not that we're trying to build walls. It's not that at all. We're just so busy in our own world that we forget. And that's why I call these kids the forgotten, the invisible, the voiceless, the faceless kids of America. Because, well, most of us are celebrating Christmas. They're in a cell by themselves. And I just want to encourage you all, this year, 2024 is the year that I am just, I'm beating the drum of, don't let this be the year that you let go by letting people be forgotten and invisible, that we can do something to change their trajectory now. That's it. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of our journey. Thank you for liking this, subscribing to this, and sharing this show with others. And thank you for being the first person to leave us a review in 2024. See you next week.
At 5-Star Life, we are changing the face of culture through education and sports by changing the most important piece of a human being's life, their mindset. If you are interested in being a part of our journey, please visit 5starlife.org for more information on volunteer and donation opportunities.